Hello friends, it's me, Phil. I'm so glad you're here because today I want to invite you on a journey that's a little different from any adventure we've taken before. I've traveled to a lot of places, tasted incredible food, and met some of the most wonderful people along the way. But this time, I'm bringing something new along for the ride, something that's changing the way we explore the world. You know what I love? Food. And the best way to find it is to travel, meet people, and share a smile. There's nothing quite like sitting at a bustling market, surrounded by the sounds and smells of a new city, and sharing a meal with someone you've just met. Food has always been my favorite way to connect, to break the ice, and to discover what makes a place truly special. But sometimes, language can be a barrier, and that's where things get interesting. I've always believed a smile is the universal language, but what if you could add a few more words? Imagine being able to ask about a secret family recipe, or to hear the story behind a dish, even if you don't speak the same language. Smiles open doors, but words can open hearts. And that's something I've always wanted to experience more deeply. What if technology could help turn curiosity into real conversations? What if, instead of just pointing and nodding, you could actually ask questions, share stories, and laugh together, no matter where you are in the world? That's the promise of the new tools we have at our fingertips today. It's not just about convenience, it's about making real connections, and turning every encounter into a genuine exchange. On my latest trip I brought along a new travel companion, artificial intelligence, or AI. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Phil, aren't you more of a food guy than a tech guy? And you'd be right. But I was curious. I wanted to see if this technology could help me go beyond the surface, to really get to know the people and places I visit. Could a little bit of code help me find the best local eats or even help me make a new friend? I'm not the most technical guy, but I heard these new AI tools could make traveling even more special, helping you dive deeper into a culture. I was a little nervous at first. Would I spend more time looking at my phone than looking at the world around me? But what I found surprised me. With the right tools, technology can actually bring you closer to people, not farther away. It can help you ask questions you never thought you could, and understand answers you never thought you'd hear. So I packed my bags, my appetite, and my smartphone and set off to see if a machine could help me connect more with people. I wanted to see if technology could help me find those hidden gems, those unforgettable meals, and those moments of laughter that make travel so magical. And let me tell you, the results were more surprising and more heartwarming than I ever expected. This is the story of how a little bit of code led me to a whole lot of humanity. So whether you're a tech enthusiast or just someone who loves a good meal and a great conversation, I hope you'll join me on this adventure. Let's get started. My adventure began long before I even set foot outside my front door. As I sat in my cozy living room surrounded by travel books, maps, and a well-worn passport, I realized that planning a trip had always been a mix of excitement and stress. There were so many details to juggle: where to go, what to see, how to get around, and how to make the most of every moment. In the past, I'd spend hours flipping through guidebooks, opening endless browser tabs and scribbling notes trying to piece together the perfect itinerary. This time though, I decided to try something different. Instead of drowning in information overload, I turned to an AI travel planner called Ariel. It was like having a super smart travel agent right at my fingertips, ready to help me sort through the chaos and bring my dream trip to life. I simply opened my tablet, launched the app, and started a conversation. I told Ariel about the things that mattered most to me: sampling local food, exploring art galleries, listening to live music, and meeting people who actually lived in the city. I wanted an itinerary that wasn't just a checklist of tourist spots, but a journey full of flavor, creativity, and unexpected moments. I asked for recommendations that would surprise me, and for a plan that felt personal, not generic. What amazed me was how Ariel responded. It didn't just spit out a list of places. Instead, it asked me thoughtful questions. Did I prefer bustling markets or quiet neighborhoods? Was I an early riser or a night owl? Did I want to squeeze in as much as possible or leave space for spontaneous adventures? As I answered, the AI adjusted my plans instantly, suggesting the best times to visit hidden studios, local markets, and even quirky events I'd never have found on my own. Ariel didn't just help me dream up the perfect trip, it handled the nitty-gritty details too. It booked my train tickets, found a charming boutique hotel in a lively neighborhood, and even sent me reminders about check-in times and local customs. All the logistics that usually made me anxious were taken care of, leaving me free to focus on the fun parts. At first I worried that relying on AI might make my trip feel too rigid or over-planned, But Ariel surprised me again. It built in plenty of free time for wandering, getting lost, and making discoveries on my own. It encouraged me to explore side streets, linger in markets, and follow my curiosity wherever it led. The AI wasn't a strict boss, barking orders or keeping me on a tight schedule. Instead, it felt like a creative partner, someone who inspired me, offered ideas, and adapted to my changing moods and interests. If I wanted to change plans on the fly, Ariel was ready to help. With Ariel, I had a fantastic starting point, a thoughtfully crafted plan that left plenty of room for happy accidents and spontaneous adventures. Whether I stumbled upon a street performance or found myself chatting with locals in a cozy cafe, I knew I could always check in with my digital travel buddy for new ideas or directions. With my digital co-pilot by my side, I felt more confident and excited than ever. My bags were packed, my itinerary was ready, and I couldn't wait to see how this partnership with AI would play out in the real world. The adventure was just beginning. The first real test of my language skills and my courage came at a bustling outdoor market where the air was thick with the scent of spices, laughter, and the hum of a dozen different conversations. The market was alive, a tapestry of colors and sounds, and I felt both excited and a little overwhelmed as I navigated the maze of stalls. Among the chaos, I spotted a woman behind a table piled high with golden pastries. The aroma was irresistible, and I was instantly curious about what made her treat so special. I wanted to do more than just buy a snack. I wanted to connect, to learn her story. Instead of simply pointing and smiling, I pulled out my phone and opened Google Lens. I hovered over her handwritten sign, and in an instant, the foreign script transformed. Almond and honey cakes, grandma's recipe. Suddenly, I had a window into her world, and it felt like magic. With a little more confidence, I switched to the app's conversation mode and asked in her language if these pastries were really her grandmother's recipe. Her eyes sparkled, and her whole face lit up with pride and joy. She began to share stories about her family, her childhood, and the secret behind her pastries. I listened, fascinated as she described how her grandmother taught her to bake, passing down traditions from one generation to the next. In return, she patiently taught me how to say thank you in her language, guiding me through the unfamiliar sounds until I got it just right. That little device in my hand, my smartphone, became so much more than a gadget. It was a key, unlocking doors that would have otherwise stayed closed. It broke down the invisible wall of silence that often separates travelers from locals, turning what could have been a simple transaction into a genuine human connection. We laughed together, and for a moment I felt like I belonged. After that, I started using the translator everywhere I went, chatting with fishermen as they mended their nets by the water, striking up conversations with street musicians about their favorite songs and asking shopkeepers about the origins of their crafts. Each interaction became a small adventure, a chance to learn something new and to share a smile. Every time I reached out, I was met with warmth and openness. People seemed genuinely delighted that I was making the effort to speak their language, even if it was just a few words. The awkwardness faded, replaced by laughter and friendly gestures. What surprised me most was that the technology itself faded into the background. It wasn't the star of the show, it was the quiet facilitator, gently bridging the gap between cultures and making space for real moments of connection. With every conversation, I felt my confidence grow. I was no longer just a tourist passing through. I was a participant, a learner, and sometimes, even a friend. The world felt a little smaller and a lot more welcoming, all thanks to the translator in my pocket. My next adventure took me to ancient ruins in the old city. Usually I just read a plaque and try to imagine the past. This time I used an app called Mindtrip with augmented reality. I pointed my phone at the ruins, and on my screen, the ancient buildings rebuilt themselves. I saw grand archways, vibrant marketplaces, and intricate carvings as they once were. Pop-up bubbles told me stories like how the spot I stood on was once a central fountain. It was immersive, like being a time traveler. The AR didn't pull me out of the moment, it plunged me deeper into it. I left with a new respect for history, all thanks to a little magic in my phone. Technology made the past feel personal and alive. Every traveler dreams of finding hidden gems. I challenged my AI planner, ChatGPT, to find experiences only locals know. It suggested a family-run ceramics workshop in a quiet neighborhood, complete with the artisan's name and the best time to visit. Following the AI's directions, I found the unmarked doorway and met the elderly artisan. Using my translation app, I learned about his craft and the meaning behind his designs. It wasn't a tourist show, it was a genuine glimpse into his life. We connected despite the language barrier, thanks to technology. This was an authentic, intimate experience I never would have found on my own. Sometimes the best discoveries come from a digital nudge. The most memorable moment of my trip started with an AI-recommended local food market. There I met Matteo and his daughter, curious about a local gourd. Using my translation app, I asked about it. Matteo explained, and after a friendly chat, he invited me to dinner at his home. I joined his family for a delicious stew, sharing stories and laughter, with my phone bridging the language gap. For a few hours I wasn't a tourist, I was a guest and a friend. The invitation never would have happened without that first simple question made possible by technology. These are the moments that make travel unforgettable. Sometimes all it takes is curiosity and a little help from AI. Connection is the real treasure. Ready for your own AI-powered adventure? Here are my favorite tools to get you started. For planning, Ariel creates personalized itineraries, while ChatGPT is perfect for quick ideas and custom plans. Google Lens is a must for translating signs, menus, and real-time conversations. Mindtrip's AR feature brings history to life and helps you find off-the-beaten-path spots. Waze is essential for navigating tricky city streets and finding hidden gems. These tools aren't just for techies, they're for anyone who wants to dive deeper into a new culture. With them, you're not just visiting, you're truly exploring. Download a few, and let your next adventure begin. I'll be honest, AI isn't perfect. There were funny mishaps and a few wild goose chases. Once my planner sent me to a quiet cafe that turned out to be a kid's birthday party. I had to laugh. Translation apps sometimes made hilarious mistakes, like calling a chef's dish a strange experiment. But these blunders became icebreakers, not barriers. The key is to embrace the imperfections and keep a sense of humor. Use AI as a guide, not a guarantee, and always be ready to improvise. The best stories often come from the unexpected. Adventure is about the journey, not perfection. As my trip ended, I realized technology hadn't pulled me away from the world, it brought me closer. AI gave me the confidence to connect, the map to hidden treasures, and the words to turn smiles into conversations. It didn't replace human interaction, it fostered it. The real magic is in people. The shared laugh, the taste of a family recipe, the kindness of a stranger. Technology is just a tool, connection is the goal. So be curious, embrace new tools, and let them help you find more moments of genuine connection. The greatest discoveries are the human ones. Happy travels!